Hello everyone and welcome to Amigo's Retro Gaming. In this video I was going to have a close look at the Commodore A590 Hard Drive Plus here, designed for the Amiga 500. So the drive plugs in to the side slot of the Amiga here using this edge connector here, and also you've got some connections on the back here for power, and I think that's an external SCSI. I haven't really looked into that too much, and there's some dip switch settings you can set on the back there. So I'm just going to take this apart, show you inside there. The lid should lift off, and there is a power connector there for the little fan there, just to keep it cool. And there's the hard drive there, Quantum Pro drive. Not sure what size it is, but we'll find out. Now we take this off here. Now I'll just lift that back. That's right. So we've got the board here. This one's called Party Mix. If you're familiar with the silk screening that's applied to the boards for the Amigas, and obviously it's the peripherals, you'll notice that it has the names of B-52's albums. So this one's Party Mix, and I think the A500's Rock Lobster, the A1200 is Channel Z, and the A600, that focus, Junebug. So this particular board is unpopulated as far as memory is concerned. You can pop memory into here, and I love this on the silk screen here. I'll see if I can get a closer shot, but it shows you these engineers had a sense of humour. So if you had 2 megabytes of RAM installed, you'd have the 2M jumper here, or 1 megabyte 1M, half a megabyte 512. And for no memory, it's set to amnesia. So yeah, I just love how they had sense of humour back in the day when they were designing these boards, and that's also shown in the naming of the boards too, I think. So anyway, this particular model can also support an XT drive. This particular one is actually hooked up via SCSI, so I'm going to put that back together, hook it up to the A500, and show you the installation process, and go ahead and install an operating system. So I'm going to start off by putting Workbench 1.3 on there, so let's go and have a look at that. The assembly process is just the reverse of the disassembly process, obviously. You might have noticed also that the type of this drive, just zoom in on that, was originally an XT 20 megabyte. Manufacturer of the hard drive was Western Digital. There's the model number, and it also states here the number of cylinders, sectors per track, and the number of heads. So this is obviously not original. It's, as you saw before, it's got the Pro Drive SCSI in there, and I read on the board that there's definitely an external SCSI. So I'll show you how to hook this thing up. So the drive just slots into this edge connector here on the left hand side of the A500. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect that up. Okay. Right, so that's the drive connected. One more thing to do is there's a power supply there for the unit. It's currently set to on, it's plugged in and on. So you notice that when I plug this into the hard drive power, even though the power brick is turned on, there's no power being delivered to the A590 yet. That's because it gets its signal to start up from the Amiga 500 when you turn it on, which I think is pretty clever. So I've actually got an operating system installed on this drive, but I'm going to go ahead and wipe it and start from scratch. So at the moment it's currently running version 2.05 Workbench. So I'll go through the process of putting 1.3 on and then upgrading 1.3 to 2.05. Okay, I'll show you what happens when I turn the Amiga 500 on. You'll notice the power light came on and it's actually booting there now. Okay, so there we are, booted into Workbench 2.05, this version. Back in the day these drives were quite expensive. I absolutely lusted for one of these drives. All I had was the Amiga 500 with the floppy disk system. Yeah, the hard drive just made life so much easier. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to boot from this disk here. It's the A590 setup. Okay, so I'll put that in the drive. Boot that. Now it should boot off the floppy disk, I'm hoping. Which it is, by the look of it. Okay, so first thing to do is open up the A590 setup disk. Now I didn't have much luck with the Prep HD and the Format HD, I think. For some reason they didn't seem to work. I will try again. Let's see what HD Toolbox has to say about this drive. Okay, so here's the partition information. I've actually set the device name for Workbench underscore 2.x, which is what we need for installing Workbench 2.05. And that's my other partition I've set up there for, that one was called Work, or DH1 here. But I'm going to end up formatting those, but I won't change those at this stage. And so Prep HD, for some reason, doesn't seem to work. Yeah, Euro 32 on device open. Hard disk failed. Okay, so not quite sure what's going on there. I think we get a similar thing with the Format HD here. See, hard disk cannot be found. I'll format this disk anyway, so I'm going to rename it. I'll leave that one intact. I'm just going to deal with this boot partition here. And let's format the disk. Okay, so if I just rename that disk Workbench, and then just copy all the files from the Workbench 1.3 floppy onto the hard drive. I think that is all I have to do. So copy Okay, so I'll leave that to chug away there. This might not be the most efficient way of running a hard drive based system, considering I'm just copying all of the files from the floppy disk across to the hard drive. The configuration files on the floppy disk will be tuned really for floppy disk operation, not hard disk operation. So there would probably be some tweaks you need to do to some of the files. I'm not sure exactly what they would be. Maybe buffers and things like that. Okay, that's the copy finished off there. So I'll just check the floppy disk and reboot. See whether it boots off the hard disk. Yep. Okay. So the other thing I should probably do is copy the extras disk across. I figure that should probably go into its own folder. So I'm just going to make a drawer on there called extras with an S. And copy the contents across. Okay, that's the extras disk copied across there, so it should have a fairly much fully working 1.3 system. There's Amiga Basic. Okay, it's working. Okay, so next thing I'm going to show you is an in-place upgrade of the Workbench to version 2.05. So I've got the system disk here. I've got the install disk, extras, and fonts for version 2.05. Now first thing though is we have to actually run the HD toolbox and go into the partition here, and we'll have to change partition device name from DH0 for Workbench 2.05 to WB_2.x. Okay, save the changes, exit, and I think probably should do a reboot. So obviously you can only put the version 2.05 operating system on if you've got the version 2 ROMs, which this particular 500's got in it. So if you had the version 1.3 ROM, obviously you'd just stay with the 1.3 Workbench. Extra key maps. I think the default is just USA American, which is pretty much, yeah, that's what we use here. So that's my Workbench 1.3 hard drive installation. Just go in here, see if we can rerun this installer. Maybe update Workbench, maybe. I can't quite remember now which one I tried. Okay, we're removing the disk there. Let's reboot. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so that looks great. So that there you go. There's an in-place upgrade of Workbench 2.05 over the top of Workbench 1.3. So that went quite smoothly. We'll find that these programs still work. Yep. So hope you enjoyed that video on the classic A590 hard drive for the Amiga 500. Thank you very much for watching.